All right. Good evening, everyone. I'm sorry, good afternoon. It's been a long day already. I'm Diaviana Black. I go by D. I am a master's of public health student at Florida A&M University and a practicum student with Cinch. It is an honor to welcome you back from your break to the 2025 Black Maternal Health Equity Alliance Conference, standing to protect Black maternity, breaking barriers, and empowering changes. You are joining us today for Breakout Session 1, Support People for Safe Black Birth, Home Visitors, Doulas, and Birth Support People. Today, we are joined by powerful women doing transformative work in maternal and family health, uplifting Black birthing experiences through home visiting, doula support, and community care. All right. So our first panelist is Benita Thompson. Benita serves as the Healthy Families Family Resource Specialist at the Up Center and is the chairperson of the Black Maternal Health Equity Action Alliance through Cinch. A proud Hampton Roads native and a VCU alum, Benita brings over 15 years of experience in youth and family advocacy. She is a passionate collaborator and advocates for Black maternal health in our community. Next, we have Daissy Torres, an international board certified lactation consultant and maternal health advocate. Daissy has over 23 years of healthcare experience and currently serves as the designated breastfeeding expert for the Norfolk WIC program. Her work centers on improving maternal and infant outcomes through culturally responsive lactation support and care access. Joining us as well is Kayla Sage, the Marketing, Communications, and Education Manager for Postpartum Virginia, and a certified doula through Magnolia and Sage Doula Services, with more than a decade of experience across marketing, wellness, and project leadership. Kayla is a passionate storyteller and an educator dedicated to amplifying voices and empowering families through strategic and community center initiatives. Rounding out this incredible panel is Deborah Carlos. Deborah is a community-based doula at the Up Center and a Virginia State certified doula and RN. She's also a childbirth educator, parent advocate, and a champion of equitable care. Deborah's mission is rooted in advocacy and support, ensuring that every family in Hampton Roads is educated, empowered, and embraced as they grow. All right. Join me in welcoming our panelists.
Okay, okay. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Deshonda Taylor. I'm a faculty member at Old Dominion University and maternal and child health epidemiologist and researcher. So thank you all for being here for this session today, and I really look forward to hearing. I know that you all do as well. So we'll get started with our first question for everyone. What are the benefits of working with a support person like a doula, home visitor, or lactation consultant for a safe Black birth? And we can start off from this side and then we can go down to the other end and then we'll work our way back for the next question.
If I knew I was going to be the first one, I was not going to be sitting here. It's not right. Nobody told me this. So as you know, I am Daisy. I am the lactation consultant from the Norfolk WIC office. As a matter of fact, the only brown lactation consultant in our area in public health. So yeah, that tells you a lot. And it is not enough fun because we need more, right? We actually need more. We need more people that look like me, that look like you, that listened and know your experience and can say, I know what you're talking about, right? So I feel that when you have somebody who looks like you and it is a lactation consultant or even a lactation counselor, as we have different acronyms out there, when it comes to breastfeeding support, it is so important that we expand. So if you have a passion for outcomes for infant and mothers, because as we know, and if you don't, right, breastfeeding actually protects not only the infant, but also protects the mom as she continues. And this is a birthing experience that doesn't stop when you have the baby, right? Birthing doesn't stop when you have that baby. Birthing continues on as you have your baby, and you breastfeed your baby and you raise your baby. So having somebody who can listen to you, looks like you, and understands your emotions and understands what you're trying to convey and what your experience is can help you. Having a lactation consultant that will listen, that will give you the evidence-based advice, right, can make a huge difference. So yeah.
As y'all know, I'm going to talk from home visiting perspective as a participant as well as somebody who advocates for it. I think one of the big things is having somebody that's like that is a home visitor when it comes to your maternal health is making sure you have somebody with the information and connection that is seeing you regularly, that you have a relationship with. I think like the one thing I've learned about navigating Norfolk especially, but Hampton Roads in general, is that there are a lot of resources, but access to those resources is actually very challenging. If you don't know a person who does a relative case management role in this specific field, you will not know what is going on. And you will have no concept of how much is going on. And home visiting provides that for you. Like it lets you know there's community baby shower happening here. And community baby showers, if you're not familiar, are local entities will throw literally baby showers where they're gifting families with baby stuff. So like there can be baskets of like baby items, there can be gift cards, there are cribs. I mean, they'll have the gambit depending on which ones you're going to. And they also tend to invite other community resources that are available that target that specific area. But if you don't know somebody that knows about the community baby shower, how are you getting connected to those services? How would you know what other entities are available? And so home visiting brings that to your home. We make a note of everybody's gonna get the email, and that email comes through, send it to your mama, send it to your families, make sure they're aware of what's going on. Make sure check on the transportation to there. Like having those conversations, talking about transportation and using Medicaid for insurance for your doctor's appointments, making sure you're going to your doctor's appointments. That's one of the things we're monitoring. We're checking how often are you going to your doctor's appointments? Have you missed any appointments? We know that families that miss appointments, miss prenatal appointments, are higher risk of having complications. Their babies are at higher risk of being born low birth weight. So we literally home visiting is targeting these specific areas. We want to see our babies be born less low birth weight babies. And when it comes to healthy families, and because I get statistics on healthy families, we saw a 50% reduction in low birth weight babies in 2021 because of the work that we're doing. Like it's intentional of the work that we're doing. And that's something that is said, home visiting in general, it's proven to work, and it's proven to work in that same capacity. One of the things that we've also seen is that our families, we talked about advocacy earlier, they need somebody that understands where they're coming from, their perspective, and having somebody who is trained to understand, who empathizes with you in your experience, who has individualized care. We do a 14-part assessment to talk about our families, to learn about our families, their needs, their culture, to learn what's protecting them, keeping them safe, what's keeping them healthy, and also what is not. What can be working against them, their traumas. We talk about all these things before you even have your first home visit. We know who you are, and we're going to say, hey, does this person work for you? Does our program work for you? Do you have the capacity to meet with somebody weekly? Maybe they need somebody that's going to meet with them monthly. Maybe another program works better for them. Maybe they don't have capacity at all. I've had plenty of moms that I've met over the past year and a half, especially with the housing crisis, who do not have capacity. They don't have the ability to work with anybody. And so we assess that. We talk about it. we're open and honest about it. And it's helpful to our families to know that like they're not alone, that there's somebody that's caring and being intentional about connecting with them. And so that's what we do.
Hello, I am Kayla Sage. I am a full spectrum doula with a focus in postpartum. So I'm going to speak from a doula perspective. I think the key factor in having a doula as a support person is going to be having someone to teach you to advocate for yourself, right? We hear people sometimes say doulas are your advocate. While I can be your advocate if I have to be, my goal is to teach you to advocate for yourself, right? I am not your voice, you are your voice. I'm the echo, the amplifier. So I think that's the biggest thing is helping people find, what are your goals when it comes to your birth experience, your postpartum experience? How can we make sure you're staying aligned with them? What are your goals for parenting? Who is on your birth team? What do you want it to look like? So it's really just, being there to help them know what they don't know, right? Because especially when you're having a baby for the first time, you don't know. They're throwing so much at you, and you're just kind of like, I gotta decide this right now. So just helping people be proactive and know their options and build a plan and build a team that feels safe to them and is aligning with what they envision for their parenthood journey is a big factor when it comes to support. And then of course connecting, because if they're like, okay, well, I want a lactation counselor, a lactation consultant, but I want to make sure they speak Spanish. Okay, I want a therapist, but I want them to look like me. My job as a doula is to know all of those lactation consultants and know those therapists and be like, okay, I think you would really like Daisy. I think you would really like so and so. So I think that's a really big portion of my job, and why I think everybody should have a doula is to just kind of help. And then again, I'm just as doulas, we should be non-biased person that you can come to and be vulnerable with and just help you align yourself with where you're going.
Hello, everyone. I am Deb, and I am a full spectrum doula as well. A lot of my work is antepartum and during the birth, and I do postpartum care as well. But I wanted to shine a light on the continuous care that we provide. So doulas can come in from the time you find that you're pregnant, and we're here until you don't need us in postpartum care. But we are there all the time. So you go to your doctors, you see them once a month. You go to the hospital while you're in birth, and the nurses are in there for a short period of time, and then they have their other clients that they're working with. But as doulas, we're there. You have my phone number. You can call me. You're having a sad day. Let's talk about it. Hey, you want to get out the house? We need to exercise. I'm with you. I'm an outdoors person, so I'm going to take you to the park. We're going to bring our yoga mats, and we're going to get our birth balls, and we're going to work out. You have that continuous support around the clock for your pregnancy, your delivery, and your postpartum care. So I did want to shine a light on that. And the biggest thing that she just talked about was advocacy. I am a big advocate for advocacy. So in my childbirth education class, we talk about it. In our prenatal visits, we talk about it, and we work not only with mom, but with dad too, or whoever your support partner is. We really work hard on getting you comfortable with being an advocate for yourself and for your partner.
Thank you all so much for those thoughtful responses. So next, we say, what steps can Black families take to self-advocate, and how can a support person assist in this process? And we'll start from the other end. Yeah. All right.
Well, again, in my childbirth education class, take a childbirth education class. Not only do we talk about your anatomy and physiology of your body, we talk about stages of labor, but we talk about your rights in and outside of the hospital. If some people are having home births, some people are, having cesareans or planned C-sections, or some people are just, delivering at the hospital. We go over your birth plan. I'm big on birth planning. So we go over, what is your ideal birth? We all know labor and birth is unpredictable. We don't know what's going to happen. However, you can tell me what you want to happen. And then we go over plan B. What if you not needing pain medication, what is your other options for that? And then we go over, I call it plan C for cesarean, just in case you might have an unplanned cesarean section. So birth planning is really big. And I do have templates and stuff if you guys want to see that, but it's full in detail of everything, different medications, walking around with without the belly bands to so you can feel free, because when you get to the hospital sometimes you feel like you're strapped down, you can only be in the bed and you have the IVs hooked up to you, but there are other options where you can have an experience of a home birth but in a hospital setting. So yeah, just knowing your rights, knowing what you can and cannot do.
That was so good. Just to emphasize on that, education, seeking out that education. Take a childbirth education class, take a comfort measures class, lactation class, infant feeding class, all the classes. You can find them, through your doula, through WIC, through your health department, but you can also find them online. Some people are doing them in the libraries. They're all over. Don't take just one. Take as many as you want. Read, talk to people. I know sometimes, again, especially first-time moms, we have a little bit of a fear when it comes to talking to other people about their birth experience, because you're like, don't put that juju on me. But you might learn something. You might learn an option. Oh, if I had known, I would have done X, Y, Z. Well, now I know that X, Y, Z is available to me. Talk to people about their experiences. Connect with people. Come to events like this where you can hear people talk. You're already taking the step. So just seek the knowledge. Seek the knowledge, and then, like she said, a birth plan is vital. We know, things don't always go to plan, so have some flexibility. Alongside that, I'm gonna tell you, birth plan, yes. Postpartum plan, 100%. A lot of people say, I've never even heard of that. Who's gonna be taking the dogs out? Who's gonna be taking the kids to the bus stop? Who's gonna do the dishes? Who's getting up the first shift in the night? Who's getting up the second? Who do I call when I just want to vent and not feel judged? Who do I call when I want to go on a walk? You can only plan so much, but you can't plan too much, can you? Yeah. But educate yourself, plan, and then be vocal. Be vocal and don't be afraid of being loud if you have to.
Some of you already know what I'm going to say because I already said it. So I've already listed the resources that I think are really effective when it comes to educating yourself. So the Black Birth and Bill of Rights, looking up the Hear Her campaign, and also, of course, connect with your home visiting programs. They exist. I mean, again, there are five to seven, 6 to 7 home visiting programs in Norfolk. We're really big on sharing the wealth. If I get a referral and the family lives in Chesapeake, I'm going to send it to the people I know live in Chesapeake. I'm not going to make that the work of the family to go connect unless my schedule is just so tight that I just don't have time to do that. And usually I inform them of that. Like, we'll go to a community event and I've gotten plenty of, it'll be half the list. And it's like, well, y'all live out of the Norfolk area, so I can't service you. But I'm not going to, I'm just keep the referral. No, I'm going to go send it to CHIP. I'm going to go send it to Healthy Families in Virginia Beach. I'm going to do that work because I think that connection to home visiting is that vital. Again, it's a free service. I was a mom who, again, had over 15 years of experience working and serving families and still was not as confident in my ability to navigate this system. I lived in Arizona for almost 10 years. I came to Virginia and was like, so what all is available now? I only know what was available 10 years ago. And I'm here like, what do they have for moms? And so getting connected to home visiting, shout out to my friend for connecting me to it, was open me up to so much more of what's available now for me, at what cost it's available or what location it's available. You can't overemphasize that. Like, it's a free service and it's voluntary. So if at any point in time you don't want to do it, tap out and say, I don't want to, we're good, we're stable, we're consistent, I got the education or I have the connections, and you can come back. We have plenty of moms who were pregnant and they did it until their child was 1, and they go back 2 years later. You know what? Someone could use a little help getting ready for pre-K, and that's a thing. We make it available to them so that it's one of those services that it's unlike anything else that exists, because outside of home visiting, you have CPS. Let's be real. Like when it comes to that level of case management, that connection, that's it. That we want there to be so much more. There's not. When it comes to that level of connection and networking and support for our families, like it can be an intensive level of support for our high needs families, our new moms. We have a lot of military families. It's a great way to connect for military families. They come here, they're only here for a limited time. They have no idea what's going on here. They're not from this area. They don't understand the culture. So it's a great way to kind of navigate that and feel it and do it confidently. So get the education by being connected. People already have it. Don't make it hard on yourself. Work hard. What they say, work smarter, not harder. The smart is get connected home visiting, get connected with a doula, get connected to WIC. Golly, the fact that I was stubborn about WIC, we're not gonna get into that. We're not gonna talk about that today. We're not gonna. No one needs to know that story. Just kidding. I'll say it. Like, well, when I did home visiting, my home visitor was like, "Are you a part of WIC?" And I was like, "No, I don't need WIC. I had food stamps at the time. I was just like, following on this budget, I'm fine." And I was 6 months postpartum before I got attached to WIC. And I got WIC and I said, now why did I wait? But shout out to her for just consistently bringing it up. Like she never stopped bringing it up. I worked from the time I found out I was pregnant through my child turning 1. And she was consistently saying, are you on WIC? No, I'm not on WIC. I'm fine. It's fine. Are you on WIC? No. Did you apply for WIC? No. Fine. And then I got on WIC and I said, oh, damn it. She was right. This whole time. So it's because then there's a connection to lactation. There's a connection to other community events. Like WIC throws community events all the time. So it's one of those things that is like, you have to get connected with people that have it instead of feeling like you have to be the one to navigate it or know it yourself. And use other community resources. Again, like I didn't hear about the Black Birth and Bill of Rights until I started being connected to BEMA, which is a community resource for family. We want everybody. We want the community, families, everybody to join BEMA to get connected, let us know what's going on. And I didn't know about the Hear Her campaign until I was a part of home visiting. So it's one of those things.
She sold you WIC, and I didn't have to do a thing. I'm just gonna sit back. And I'm like, well, so she said. But I'm gonna speak for my district, which is the Norfolk district. And if you are a parent, please just go. You may think that you're not eligible. You most likely are. We're not. We don't have money. Most of us can have WIC. And if you are a professional, please send your pregnant mom to WIC. WIC is not for formula, or at least that's what I'm working towards. It's not for formula. It's for support. It's for education. It's for referrals. In Norfolk WIC, we actually provide a breastfeeding class, and we provide it 3 times a week. So 2 times of those are virtual. So you can go at any time and get your breastfeeding class. You learn latch, you learn everything hospital related. So you will learn complications after and what to do about them. But we also give them a baby behavior class. And a lot of the times we have new parents or even parents who've had many times children, and they still cannot figure out how to read their baby. So we do a baby behavior class. And I do not know about you. So if you're a professional, you're seeing a lot of these mamas who've had the baby like 15 years ago, and all of a sudden they're pregnant again, and they're like, I have no idea what I'm doing. Can I have help? And here in Norfolk WIC, we help them. They will get a breastfeeding peer counselor. So that means it's another mama who has breastfed. She has experience. They can text, call anytime to talk to them with any questions. We have support group for pregnant and breastfeeding mamas, so they can come in with their partners, with their children, and then just have that together and learn what is to build a tribe and a community, right? Because most of us feel all alone, even if we have our parents or such. Especially nowadays where we have younger people who really would like to breastfeed, would really like to try lactating, but then they have all of these people behind them saying, oh, you don't need that. It's okay. It's so hard. So when they hear and they see what is typical, what is normal, they get really, really excited. So we do provide that. Like I mentioned, lactation support, they can come in completely for free. to the clinic and get, and I can attest to that, 2 hour free if they come in 2 times, 3 times, and they need it. It's completely free. So sometimes I'm 2 hours with a participant who needs help, and they come out of that office. I'm like, you're not leaving here until you're happy with something. You're leaving my office happy with something. And they, yes. And it's just that renew thing of, I can do this, because a lot of times it's just that lack of confidence, that lack of support. And we have that support at WIC. So we're not for formula, we're not for a couple of dollars for fruits and vegetables. We are a whole system, and we can refer you. We can refer you to home visiting. We can refer you to doulas, and we have like all of these resources. You need dental. We have actually places where you can go dental. So we do so much of that. One of the things that I think that we do a lot is to raise our mamas' voices. We have so many of them just saying, after they have their baby, my baby won't latch. You know, the nurse came in and she was like, oh, you look tired. I'm going to feed your baby. And then that person gives a bottle of formula, and it's about what, 100 cc's. It's, if you don't know, it's like this much. Baby's stomach is this much. And then the baby's like, who's that lady over there that you want me to feed from now, right? So we really teach the mamas, hey, when you have your baby and you are having this wonderful experience, you place that baby on your chest, that is part of your birthing experience. That will send so many relaxations, so much love. All of that hormone of loving is gonna increase. You're gonna have that stress just release. It's like part of that birthing experience. So yeah, we at WIC, we really would love, if you are a professional, remember, WIC is here. If they have Medicaid, they have SNAP, they pretty much can have WIC. In our level of eligibility is actually much higher than other things. So please, if you need some information, I'll have some.
All right, thank you. All right, so what supports are available to address the mental health needs of Black birthing families, and how can support people help ensure psychological safety? For this, I will allow anyone who wants to respond first to go, and then we'll take it from there. So what supports are available to address mental health needs of Black birthing families, and how can support people help ensure psychological safety?
Well, there are support groups out there. They have Mommy and Me groups. There are faith-based organizations that provide support as well. Um, I like to focus on the family unit as a whole, because it's not just moms that have their mental health journey. This is the dad's or the partner's journey as well. So I like to focus on them too. We talk about giving affirmations is big in my house. I am this, I am that. So, I let my daughter stand in front of the mirror and say, I am beautiful, I am smart, I am powerful. So using those tools during your pregnancy, using those tools during labor, because I will be quick to stick a affirmation on the wall and I'm like, look at this, because your body is doing something amazing. Your body is doing something powerful. We're bringing life into the world. You can absolutely do this, because when you get into the thick of things, you be like, Lord, I can't do this no more. I'm like, yes, you can. Yes, you can. So affirmation, validation that the dad is doing a wonderful thing too. You're providing excellent support and just creating that safe space overall. I create a room where people are comfortable. They feel like they're at home. They feel like they can come talk to me about anything. I'm not going to get graphic. I'm not going to get graphic, but I get some text messages and I'm just like, they're like, what's this? And I'm just like, well, got a little bloody show, but everything's all good. But as far as mental health goes, especially for men, we have Dads to Dads program at the Up Center that is created specifically for our men to come in and talk about their journey through their pregnancy and their experience, and share stories from people who've already done it, people who are new to it, or any father figures, really. My husband actually has a podcast and a support group called ICU that is catered to Black men's mental health, and they're big in Norfolk right now. But if you want more information on that, I can give that to you. But there are resources out here for mental health for moms, the family, and the dad as well.
So at Postpartum Support Virginia, we have, like Deborah said, we have support groups both in person and online, some of which are in the hospital. So you can even come right after you have your baby or before you have your baby and come hang out with us. We have a few online that are just general, and then some that allow you to express yourself creatively. We have a creative writing one coming up. Alongside that, right now, I'm so excited. Alongside that, we also have a care coordination line. So if you know I need something, whether it's I need someone to talk to right now, I need a referral for a therapist, IBCLC, I just need help figuring out what resources are available to me, even financially, you can call our one line and we will get you set up. We have a peer mentor program. So again, if you want to connect with someone with lived experience, somebody who's been where you are, somebody who's might even be going through it again, and you just want to have someone that you can talk to at least once a week and connect with, call us. We'll get you matched with somebody that we think might want to be friends with you. So PSVA is a wonderful, wonderful organization, and they have a lot of different ways for you to connect with other people and with those resources. When it comes to your support team, I think a really big thing to keep in mind, and again, this is me speaking to those support people a little bit less to the birthing parents, is just when you have a loved one who is going through the birthing process, the postpartum process, that is a time to let go of your own ego, let go of your feelings, let go of everything, because they're vulnerable, and when they're able to show their hurt, their fear in ways that are going to sometimes make you feel uncomfortable, that's an honor. That is an honor. Be a safe space for those people. Put your feelings aside and just be there, be present. I think is the biggest thing that you can do, and really uphold, their boundaries, not taking it personally, and just understand that it is an honor to be able to be in that space with that mom, dad, and that newborn. So just be there in the way they want you to.
I'm only going to say two things because I want other people to speak. But I was going to co-sign Deb with her affirmations when I was preparing for my the presentation I did before. I was looking back at my birth plan, which I sent out copies of. But I also saw on my phone my affirmations that Deb had instructed me to do. Y'all know Deb was my doula for my pregnancy, so that's how I know her. She's been with the Upstream longer than me, of course. And so she was my doula, and she was able to tackle that virtually, which, amen, because it was not that easy. But because I was looking back at my affirmations and I was like, well, look what she did there. Because it was something that, when you have anxiety, again, I had experienced infant loss prior to getting pregnant again with my second child. So there was a lot of anxiety and fear around my pregnancy. And so I really was like, I was not shutting any support down. Give me all the stuff. Give me the things. I know exactly I'm doing healthy families again. Give me Deb again. And so she had me do a lot of affirmations to address that fear. And I just was writing down. I had scriptures because I did that on a spiritual need for me, but it was just speaking life over my whole pregnancy, which again, I did it the whole time. And again, life over my pregnancy. There was the fear of death associated, and it had been a proven thing. Like, it could have happened. So I had a lot of fear associated with that. So I just wanted to co-sign Deb for that being something that I have experience with her doing. And then something I know Daisy can speak to from her experience was my postpartum depression that I experienced. I can probably correlate that heavily to my challenges with lactation and breastfeeding. They tell you breastfeeding reduces your likelihood of depression, but only if it's going well. If you have challenges breastfeeding, you're actually more likely to experience depression. And I did. My son had a shallow latch, and it was horrible. It was horrible, and it was traumatic. It's traumatic because now this is my rainbow baby, and I'm having a struggle to do something. Like, just the thoughts that go through your head about all the things that are going wrong and why they could be going wrong, and you're not rational postpartum. Like, it's all literally just irrational thoughts. and nobody around me had breastfed. I was literally alone. And again, COVID, I was literally alone doing a new thing. And because I didn't have direct connection to lactation support, which is something we've actually intentionally worked on over the past few years with Healthy Families, is because we just didn't have the connections that we do now, luckily. But we didn't have those connections, and they were kind of just up in the air during COVID because it's such a direct support. I really was like, I don't know what I'm doing. And I would find myself crying because it was that horrible. So the importance of lactation support supersede in advance, like while you're pregnant, while your mom is pregnant, is important because they need that information before they have the baby, because then they're in the thick of something that they didn't even know was possible. And who can get them out if not a support in place? So when I think about how to help with mental health, I think like all of these things work for all of the reasons that they've said and that they will say. It is greater than doing it after the fact. We don't want to be reactive. We want to be proactive. Like get a lactation consultant before, get a doula before, get home visiting before, talk to your providers, get childbirth classes before. Like, and I mean, as soon as if you plan to get pregnant, learn about having about lactation support, because the things that you will like hear, you're gonna contrary information, and you're like, what actually is the truth? And you got to find out, build rapport with these people, and by the time you build rapport, you're 9 months pregnant into it. So get it before.
So what I will say is open heart, open mind, right? When you are talking to somebody else, regardless on what level you're talking to somebody else, you should always be open heart, open mind. So part of my job at Norfolk Wake is to speak to every single pregnant person. So in the past, I don't know, 2 years since I've been doing that one-on-one, I've spoken with more than 4,000 pregnant mamas. Okay, so the thing is to learn, what was your experience before? You know, because I could be telling you, oh girl, you need to breastfeed because that's the best thing that is ever. But what happened if you had that kind of experience, right? You're gonna be like, yes, I know, I'm gonna do it because I know it's the best, etc. But then you are having all of these feelings inside. So my goal is, let me listen to you now during your pregnancy, so I already know how to help you. What kind of things should be working on towards the future, so that way you feel supported, so that way you know that we're here for you, that if you need this or that, we can get it to you now. So yes, breastfeeding is something that looks like it's after, but in reality, the support, the resources, the referral, all of that needs to be happening during pregnancy. So we do get a lot of parents who come in and they are 38 weeks. And my question is, where have you been all this time? I needed you a long time ago. So as soon as you know a friend, a family, your patient, whoever might be that just got pregnant, doesn't matter if it's 2 weeks, 3 weeks, they even just think that I might be pregnant. They might think that I might be pregnant. We want them. We want them because we need them to feel supported since the beginning. I talk to them 1 month after they come into WIC. We talk about their goals. We talk about the things that they know and they might not know. What is their support system? How can we complement your support system? How can we get you there? Have you thought about a doula? Do you know that your health insurance might cover one? Here's a couple of people that we know in the area that take your insurance. All of these things we are doing during pregnancy. And I feel that able to have an open heart and an open mind when you are speaking to others will allow them to be in a safe place. That means that you will be able to actually catch those flags, right? Because they are able to be vulnerable, they're able to express their feelings to you. And as long as you leave your own out and you just listen to them, you're going to be able to help them. So yeah, that's what I would say. Open heart, open mind.
All right, thank you. And then for our final question, who should be considered part of the support team for Black birthing families, and what roles might they play? So once again, anyone can go first if you want to.
I think your birthing team can look very different based on your preferences, your lifestyle, but the base team is who's catching the baby, who's caring for mom, so your OBGYN, your midwife, etc. Like anyone can catch the baby actually. And then one person we don't always think of from the physician side is your pediatrician. One thing that people don't know is you can interview different pediatricians before your baby's born. You have options. So that's really good way to connect with them. Are they aligned with the goals that I have for taking care of my baby? Do I even like being around them? Do I feel comfortable around them before a baby's here? So research, talk to other people about their experiences, but set up an appointment while you're pregnant to meet with a couple different pediatricians and see who worked for you. After that, it's, your main support person. I think traditionally that's going to be the other parent of the child or your partner. But sometimes that's your own mom. Sometimes that's your best friend. Sometimes that's your doula. It could be anyone. And then from there, it can look like whatever. I have a lot of families now who have either just, themselves and their partners, or it's their whole family. And I mean, the other kids and the dogs, everybody's there in the birthing room. So it's really who do you feel comfortable with in your most vulnerable state? Who is going to bring you peace? Whose job is it going to be to bring you snacks? Who do you feel comfortable touching to you? Who knows like what to say to you to calm you down? It's really what are you comfortable with? That's it. That's it. We talked about, those first three. Those are pretty much non-negotiable. But after that, it's whatever you feel comfortable with.
I just wanted to piggyback off of what you said about providers. Find someone for your OBGYN or your midwife that has the same views as you. Like you said about your pediatrician, you can do the same thing with the person that's catching the baby. Make sure that they have your best interests in mind. Um, we said doulas, and we have your spouse or your mom, your person that's there, your lactation consultant. Really look into those because this is a very intimate moment in your life that you're going to remember forever. So you want to have that strong team that's going to be there to support you, not somebody that just say, "Hey, I was there to see the baby. I'm just here to hold the baby for you." No, especially in the postpartum period, you want to have somebody that's going to be there with you to help you take a shower, to cook you a meal. You can even at your baby shower have people sign up for a meal train. Who's going to bring in, food this week? I got a pan full of lasagna that I can stick in the freezer that I can eat off for a couple of days. Those are the things like you really want to think about, not somebody that's just going to sit on your couch and look at you. We need that help. I know. Look at the baby. All the shoes look so nice. That's not what I need. I need help with this pile of laundry that's been sitting on my couch for 3 days. But those are the kind of support. Someone that's going to alleviate the stress off of you so you can be at peace.
And again, before I hand it off, let me add one more thing. That's a big part of your birth plan and your postpartum plan. And if you don't have birth plans, there's templates everywhere. But postpartum on Postpartum Support Virginia, we have a free plan that you can go on, download, very universal. That's where you go in and you start to assign people roles. You can do that, of course, prenatally for your birth, but postpartum, again, who do I feel comfortable coming into my home in that very vulnerable state? Who can I call? Who can go on walks? Who can take the baby if I really, really need a break? We said proactive, not reactive. That's one of my favorite quotes. Do it, because postpartum is not a time where you want to have to use your brain.
And what brain? It doesn't exist. The brain does not exist. Just kidding. I think the biggest thing is to remind families that, oh, I lost my train of thought. Oh, there's no judgment. Like, you get to have the birth experience you want to have. It is your birth experience. You don't owe anybody anything. And I've had moms who were in tension with people that were coming to visit them during their pregnancy, and it doesn't turn out well. And it's like, well, you don't owe this person their attendance. It is your pregnancy, it's your delivery, it's your postpartum experience. So emphasize, encourage our moms to know, like, you don't owe nothing. You don't even owe the partner anything, low key. If you know that they can't support and keep you calm, don't have them come. They don't gotta be there. You might want to be there to be, to see the baby, but you don't owe them that. Like, let's be very honest. Like, especially if the person that is there is not your partner anymore, sometimes it's not a good time. You can just be there after. And maybe that's what you have to do. Like, you can't see me in my most vulnerable part because I don't owe you that. And I think it's okay to help encourage our families to know that. Like, if you want to give birth alone, you can give birth alone. But it's sometimes just better to have somebody else there. Like, have somebody else but they have to be a support. You want them to be a support for you who help you feel safe. That's again, that was said before, this is the experience that you're going to take away. Nobody else. It's just a blip in their experience, but for you, this is something that can affect you long term. How your birth experience happens will affect whether or not it's trauma for you or not. It's about if it affects your ability to latch with your child, your ability to connect with your child, your ability to feel confident in parenting, like ability to connect with others. Like, that's how important that moment is. And so we have to let parents know, like, it's not about anybody else or their ego, their experience. Which is why that's overemphasized here, is that it's not about anybody else's experience. It's yours. It's yours. Own it. Take ownership of it. And, like you will, it's your child. So I overemphasize that.
All I'm going to say is boundaries are healthy. We all need boundaries, right? So I would say anybody who makes you feel yourself, makes you feel heard, those are the people that you want around. Everybody else can have their boundaries. And then if they want to come in and see the baby, that's great. Bring me money or bring me bring me food.
All right. Would you all join me in thanking these wonderful panelists so much? Beautifully said, wealth of knowledge. We appreciate you and your time. Do we have time for questions? 1 minute? One? Okay. Okay. Does anybody have a quick question?
Good afternoon. My name is Ashanti Kincannon. I'm the Health Equity Specialist at the Portsmouth Health Department. In Portsmouth, we are facing significant maternal health disparities as there is no labor and delivery, as you all probably know. We have slim to no providers. So my job as the equity specialist is to meet these needs of my community. And as I'm going out in the community, I would love to educate and explain how doula services, especially those with Medicaid, that's availability for them. I need to understand the process so I could educate properly. So is there like a doula directory, or what does that process look like when implementing that?
Yes. So I myself am a Medicaid doula. There's a couple of different ways that they can go about it. There is a directory. They can get referred directly by their provider. They can call their insurance. But the first step is a form that you get off of the BDH website still. They have their provider sign off on it. And then from there, they can find their doula and just their doula can take it over. You can also connect with one of the doula organizations that are through Medicaid. So I'm a shout out to Urban Baby Beginnings, Miss Candace. We also have Birth in Color. They can just reach out to them directly and they will get that process started for them as well. I have not been in it so recently, so I think that might.
I just want to say, don't knock off social media, because there are support groups that are out there, especially on Facebook, that are full of just Medicaid providers. So you can look on, Hampton Roads Birth Workers of Color, and they have a whole bunch of birth workers that take Medicaid as well.
All right. Thank you so much. Everyone enjoy the rest of the conference.
First question.